Good morning, everyone. I am Maureen Dinkins, and today we will be doing the second half of the Ashtanga Primary Series. The second half of the Ashtanga Primary Series is when the postures become very difficult because there are some deep binds. So just do the best you can, watch, or just kind of hang in there. Some of these poses might seem a little bit ridiculous for some of you. We did all the way up from the beginning of the primary series through to Janu Shirsasana C on Monday. And this is a continuation of the class that we started on Monday. We'll be starting with Marichyasana A and going all the way through to the very end, which is called Uttana. So today we'll be finishing the Ashtanga Primary Series. If you practice it every day for 6 days a week, you'll definitely see results. It's a little bit more challenging to practice if you only practice it once in a while. So if you're ready, we're going to start with some sun salutations just to warm up the body. We don't do sun salutations in the middle of the practice, only at the beginning. But since we're starting at the middle and working on the more advanced postures, we want to make sure that the body's warmed up and that the breath is getting ready to flow easily. So let's come to standing at the top of the mat, and we'll do 2 sun salutation A's and 2 sun salutation B's, Surya Namaskar A and B, and then we'll come right through to a seated position and continue working on the sequence of the primary series. So let's come to standing in Samastitihi at the front of your mat. Inhale, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat, head to the knees. Inhale, look forward and step or jump back to plank. Exhale, elbows in, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Let's hold here for 5 breaths. You may want to bend one knee at a time. Stretching the backs of the legs. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. As you finish that 5th exhale, look forward. Step your feet up between your hands. Inhale, look forward as you reach to the earth. Exhale, bow your head to your knees. Inhale, come all the way up to standing. Palms together, look at your thumbs. And exhale, Samastitihi. Let's do another sun salutation A. Inhale, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the mat, head to the knees. Inhale, look forward, step it back to plank, and exhale, elbows in, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog, and exhale to downward facing dog, holding here for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1. 'Breathing for 2. 'Breathing for 3. 'Breathing for 4. And 5. As you finish your 5th exhale, bend your knees, jump or step your feet between your hands. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale, bow your head to your knees. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, palms together, look at your thumbs, and exhale, arms to the side, Samastitihi. Now let's do 2 sun salutation A's just to keep warming up that body. Bend the knees. Inhale, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, hands to the floor, head to the knees. Inhale, look forward, step or jump back to plank. Exhale, elbows in, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Step your right foot up between your hands and pivot and plant your left foot to the mat. Inhale, Virabhadrasana, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, hands to the floor, take the leg back and lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to upward facing dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Step your left foot forward, pivot your right. Inhale, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, hands to the floor, leg back, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhaling to up dog. And exhaling to down dog. Hold here. Deep breathing for 1. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. As you finish that 5th exhale, bend your knees, jump or step your feet between your hands. Inhale, half lift, look forward. Exhale, bow your head to your knees. Inhale, come all the way up to standing, palms together, look at your thumbs, and exhale, arms to your sides, Samastitihi. I got to bend my knees at the end of that one. That's okay. Let's do it again. Bend the knees. Inhale, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, fold forward, head to the knees. Inhale, look forward, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, elbows in, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to down dog. Step your right foot forward, pivot your left. Inhale, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhale, hands to the mat, leg back, lower down. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to down dog. Step your left foot forward, pivot your right. Inhaling, hands up, palms together, look at your thumbs. Exhaling, hands to the mat, leg back, lower down. Inhaling up dog. And exhaling down dog for 5 breaths. And then we're going to come through to seated and start finishing that second part of the series. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Look forward, bend the knees, jump, inhale, come through to a seated position and straighten your legs. Okay, so now we're going to start working on the sequence. The pose that comes directly after Janushirasana C is called Marichyasana A, which is the sage pose. So we're going to bend our right knee, bringing that heel as close to your sits bone as you can, making sure you have a little bit of a space between your foot and your left thigh. Take your left shoulder to the inside of your knee and wrap your right shoulder to the inside of your knee and wrap your right arm around your right leg. Wrap your left arm around your back and bind your hands. If this is easy for you, grab that left wrist. Flex your left foot and exhale, bow your head to your knee. Take 5 breaths here. Breathing for 1, looking towards your left toe. Breathing for 2. Breathing for 3. Breathing for 4. And 5. Inhale, lift your head. Exhale, release. Of course, we're going to take a vinyasa after every pose. So cross, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And inhale, come through for a seated position for the other side. So you can watch me bend that left knee. Take your left shoulder to the inside of your leg. Wrap your left arm around your leg. Wrap your right arm around your back. Bind your hands. This time holding your right wrist if you can. Flex your right foot and bow your head down to your knee. Breathing for 1. 2. 3. 4. And 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, release. Let's take another vinyasa. Cross, lift up. Jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling to upward facing dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhale, come through to a seated position. This next pose is called Marichyasana B. It's quite challenging. So you're going to bring your left foot into that half lotus position and bend your right knee up. And if this is as far as you can go, you can just stay here, work hip and knee. If you're a little bit more bendy, you're going to take that left foot deep into the hip pocket, and you're going to bend that right knee up, making sure that the outer edge of your right foot is in line with your right hip. Take your right shoulder to the inside and wrap your right arm around your leg. Wrap your left arm around your back, bind your hands, and bow your head down towards the mat. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, release your arms and legs and take a vinyasa. Cross, lift up, jump or step back. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And then inhale, come through to a seated position. And let's do the opposite side. So take your right foot first into half lotus and bend your left knee up. You can stay like this, working on those hips and knees. If you can fold your legs much deeper, take your left shoulder to the inside and wrap your left arm around your leg and your right arm around your back, bowing your head down towards the mat. Deep breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, release. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross the legs, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhale, come through to a seated position for Marichyasana C. So there are 4 Marichyasana versions. You're going to bend your right knee, folding your leg as much as possible, creating that space between your foot and thigh, and we're going to twist. Try to hook your armpit to the outside of your right thigh. And you can stay here, or if you know a deeper version, you're going to dig, 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 hook your armpit on your thigh, wrap your left arm around your right leg, and take your right arm and reach behind you to bind your hands. Flex your left foot and turn to look all the way to the right. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release the arms. Go ahead and release that right leg, and let's take another vinyasa. Cross, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhaling, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And then inhale, come through to a seated position and extend your left leg. And we're going to do the same thing on the left side. So you're going to hook your right armpit to the outside of your left thigh. Wrap your right arm around your leg and take your left arm around your back to bind your hands and look as far over your left shoulder as you can as you flex your right foot. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release the arms, then straighten the legs across, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhaling to down dog, and then inhale, come through to seated. The next pose is called Marichyasana D. This can be the most challenging pose for a lot of people. It involves deep bending of the knees and a great twisting of the spine and a stretching of the shoulder blades. So we're going to take this left foot into half lotus first. Get that foot deep into the hip crease and bend your right knee. If this is as far as you can go, you're going to stay here and just work on a gentle twist. If you can go deeper, really get that left foot into the hip crease. Bend that right knee up. And just like we did for Marichyasana B, we're going to do for D, just like we did for C. So this is similar to the last pose, but your legs are folded deeply. You're going to twist over to your right side and then hook your armpit on your leg, wrapping your right arm around the leg and the left arm around the leg, right arm around the back. It's like a game of Twister with your body all twisted up like this. Look as far over your right shoulder as you can. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release the hands, gently release the legs, and let's take another vinyasa. Hey, Curry, go lay down. Cross the legs, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhaling to downward facing dog, and inhale, come through to a seated position where we'll do the other side. Take your right foot up into half lotus. Bend your left knee, take your deepest. Twist as best you can. If you know how, go ahead and hook that right armpit to the outside of your left thigh, wrapping the arm around your leg and the left arm around your back to bind your hands. Look as far over your left shoulder as you can. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release. And let's take a vinyasa. Cross the legs, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling up dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. And inhale, come through to seated. So that was a little bit of a more challenging poses than we did before. This next pose is called Navasana, boat pose. Navasana is something we do 5 times. It's a huge core and lower back strengthener. So you're going to come onto your sits bones and lift your legs so they're straight. Bring your arms parallel to the floor. Look at your toes. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cross one leg over the other. Inhale, lift your butt. Exhale, lower your butt. Inhale, extend your legs. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cross. Inhale, lift. Exhale, lower. Inhale, extend. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Cross, inhale, lift. 2 more. This one is always the hardest, even though it looks not so hard. Breathing for 1, 2, 3. No sinking ships. 4, and 5. Cross, inhale, lift. Last one. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Woo! Cross, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog and exhale to down dog. Now come to your knees for a moment and watch me. This is going to be the first arm balance that we do in Ashtanga Yoga in the sequence. This is where you really start to work on your bandhas, that upward flying lock, that that lower lock. So we're trying to squeeze the pelvic muscles. We're trying to engage the lower abdominals to help keep us lifted. So bring your hands to the front of your mat, spreading your feet about shoulder width apart. They should already be here from downward facing dog. From downward facing dog, look forward, jump or step your feet in front of your hands and bring your knees over your shoulders. As you come down onto the elbows, you're going to lift your feet up and cross one foot over the other. Right foot first. So right foot should be on top of the left. As you squeeze your arms, you're tucking your feet underneath you and working your chin to the floor. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. As you lift up, you're going to come to Titabasana, straighten the legs. Bring the legs back behind you into Bakasana. I'm not that graceful at this right now. From Bakasana, which is that balancing pose here, you're going to jump back into plank and exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to down dog. And inhale, come through to seated. So we're going to go back. So that was Bakasana, Titabasana, and Bhuja Padangustasana, arm pressure posture. So those are really challenging postures. Sometimes it takes months or even years to master that pose, even if you practice it every day. The next pose is called Kormasana or Supta Kormasana. So we're going to do turtle and sleeping turtle. Spread your feet about the width of your mat. Bend your knees and wiggle your belly down between your thighs. So you can kind of see my feet are a little bit wide and I'm walking my hands forward. And the goal here is to try to get your knees over your shoulders. Once your knees are over your shoulders, where your knees are almost touching your neck, you're going to reach back with your hands, straightening your arms, straightening your legs, and working your chin to the mat for 5 breaths. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now from here, we move to Supta Kormasana. I'm going to show you the beginner's version of it. So once you have your knees over your shoulders, you're going to reach back and try to bind your hands. So I'm going to show you the whole version of it from the beginning. After you do that Bhuja Padangustasana pose, and then you're in down dog, you're going to come through, jump your feet around your hands, dig your shoulders underneath your knees, and slowly lower down into, which is Kormasana for 5 breaths. After Kormasana for 5 breaths, you're going to stay here and wiggle your feet together, reach around your back, and bind your hands. Then you're going to cross your right foot over your left and tuck your head down in there for sleeping turtle. 5 breaths here. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm uncrossing my feet because it's a little bit easier, but you want to keep your feet crossed, and then you lift up and jump back to plank. And exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog and exhale to down dog. So that's Kormasana, Supta Kormasana. It's best practice in person with the teacher because the teacher can really help you get those legs and arms into the right place where it's not going to hurt your neck or your shoulders or your hips. So that's a pose that you definitely want to practice with a teacher. This is another challenging pose, but this is something you could do on your own. This next pose is called Garba Pandasana, embryo in the womb pose, and Kukutasana, rooster posture. So we're going to come into full lotus. Right leg comes in first. Left leg comes on top. And then from here, you're going to take your right arm, thread it through the legs. So your arm is coming above your left ankle between your right calf and thigh. And then you're going to do the same thing on the left side. It takes a minute. And if you're wearing shorts, you can use a spray bottle to help slide your arms in and out of your legs so your skin is slippery. And then you're going to reach for your chin for 5 breaths, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That was a quick 5 breaths. From here, we roll around in a circle till we come into that rooster pose or Kukutasana. So you roll down on your left side and up on your right, all the way in a circle to the right. You should do it about 5 to 9 times. And then when you get to the front of your mat, you're going to lift yourself up. And that's your rooster pose. Lift up, lift your chin, look forward, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now you stay in lotus pose as you bring your legs, your arms out of the legs. And if you can do it, you're going to bring the elbows underneath your rib cage. Lift up, jump back, inhale up dog, exhale down dog, and inhale come through to a seated position. So those are all of the deep binds of the primary series. That's like the peak of the mountain of the postures. That's where they were the most difficult. Marichyasana D, Ubaya Padangustasana, Kormasana Supta Kormasana, and then Garba Pandasana and Kukutasana. All of those postures are really challenging. So now we are going to be working on Bharakanasana, bound angle pose. So bring the bottoms of your feet together. We do this pose a lot in my classes. It's a great hip opener. Bring the thumbs to the arches of your feet and press your elbows into your thighs as you fold forward for 5 breaths, working the belly towards those feet, working the chin towards the front of your mat. Breathing for 1. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, come up. Keep pressing those elbows into the legs, but this time we're rounding the back, sucking the belly in and working the crown of the head to the toes. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhaling, head up. Exhaling, release the legs. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross the legs, lift up, jump or step back. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, down dog. And inhale, come through to a seated position for Konasana. So you're going to open your legs wide and we're going to reach and grab the outsides of the feet, not the toes. That's Supta Konasana, the next pose. So as you grab the outsides of your feet, your legs are straight. Your belly is working towards the floor, as is your chin. Look forward, 5 breaths. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, head up. Exhale, release your hands. Now as we stay here, we're going to grab the outsides of the feet, point the toes, drop the head back, and look up. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring it in. Cross the legs. Lift up. Jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And inhale, come back through to seated for Supta Konasana, which is sleeping angle pose. So you're going to straighten your legs and exhale, roll on down to your back. Bring your arms down by your sides. Inhale, legs up, spread the legs, grab the toes, hold here for 5. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From here, with straight legs, we roll up. Exhale, go down, chin touches the floor. Inhale up, exhale, release. That takes some practice. So if you're working on it, the best way to know when to land the legs is if your legs are hyperextended and to have no fear, because then your heels will be higher than your calves and you won't have to worry about landing on your heels. You'll only land on your calves. So that's a good way to practice it, or you can just strap towels to your heels. It's up to you. So let's lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog. Exhaling to down dog. And inhale, come through to a seated position. Straight legs lay down. Supta Padangustasana. So we did this pose standing as a balancing pose. We're going to do it again as a laying down pose. Inhale, grab your right big toe with the peace fingers of your right hand. Point your left toes and put your left hand on your thigh. On an exhale, lift your head and try to bring your head to your knee. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, head down. Exhale, open the leg to the right. Turn your head to the left. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, let's bring that right leg back up. Exhale, head to knee. Inhale, head down. Exhale, release the foot. Other side. Inhale, left leg up. Grab the big toe with the peace fingers. Right leg is straight. Point the right toes. Hand on the thigh. Inhale. Exhale. Lift the head. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, head down. Exhale, open the leg to the left side. Turn your head to the right side. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Let's inhale, bring the leg up. Exhale, head to the knee. Inhale, head down. Exhale, release the leg. So a more advanced version to come out of this pose would be to do a backward somersault into Chaturanga. That's called Chakasana. That's best learned with a teacher one-on-one because it can be a little bit difficult, or if you do it wrong, you can hurt your neck. So we're just going to cross the legs, roll up to seated, and take a vinyasa. Inhale, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhaling to up dog, exhaling to downward facing dog, and inhale, come through to a seated position. The next pose is called Ubaya Padangustasana. So straight legs, lay down. Bring the legs up over your head and grab your big toes. Take one breath here. Inhale and exhale. And on your next inhale, try to roll up to balance on the sits bones. Straighten your legs. Point your toes. Bring your head back. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release the legs. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross, lift up. Jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to down dog. And inhale, come through to a seated position for Urdhva Mukha Paschimottanasana. So we're gonna lay down, and it's similar to the last pose. You're gonna bring your legs up. This time we're gonna grab the heels. Take an inhale here. Exhale. And then on your next inhale, roll up. Straighten the legs. Pull your chin to your shins. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Inhale, head back. Exhale, release. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross the legs, lift up. Jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, up dog. Exhaling, down dog. And inhale, come through to seated. We're going to work on the last pose of the primary series. This does not include the closing postures, which we have the standing postures and the closing postures. Those are always going to be the same no matter which sequence you are working on. We are working on the primary series, which is the first sequence. There are 6. They become more advanced the more you progress. So you can see why I broke it into 2 classes. This next pose is called Set 2 Bandasana, another pose that you really want to learn with a teacher. One-on-one, in person, in the classroom, because they can help you and they can see where you need to improve or where you need strength. And again, this is an intense pose on the neck, so I'm only going to show you a modified version. Bring your heels together, splay your toes out. You're making a long diamond with your legs, not this close Bharakanasana, long. So bring your feet down towards the bottom of your mat. As you lay down on your back, bring your elbows in towards your sides, and then drop your head back, resting the crown of your head on the mat, using your elbows to support you. And we're gonna hold here for 5. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, release your head, straighten your legs, roll up to seated. Let's take a vinyasa. Inhale, lift up, jump or step back. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling, down dog. Inhaling, come through to seated. And now we move to the closing postures. The first sequence of closing postures are back bends, Urdhva Dhanurasana. I'm going to show you a modified version. We always do a minimum of 3 back bends at the end of our practice. So spread your feet about the width of your mat, roll on down to your back. Bring your heels as close to your hips as you can. Lift your hips up, interlace your fingers. This is a bridge pose. Walk your shoulder blades together, lift your chin, hold here. 5 breaths, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, lower down slowly. Let's place the hands by the shoulders. And if you know how to do full back bend, go ahead. You can take bridge again if you feel like it, or you can try using the hands and feet to press yourself into the mat. Inhale, straighten those arms, lift those hips, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, lower all the way down or just to the crown of your head. See if you can walk your hands closer to your feet. Keep your feet stable. Inhale, press down and lift up again. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Exhale, lower down all the way. Straighten your legs. Come up to a seated position and take a vinyasa. Cross, lift up, jump or step back. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. Inhaling to up dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. Inhaling, come through to a seated position. We're going to take a forward fold for 10 breaths. We're always taking a nice, easy forward fold after intense back bends just to breathe. Grab your feet, grab your toes, use a strap, whatever you got to do to get into that folded mode. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Inhaling, head up. Exhaling, release. Let's take a vinyasa. Cross, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, lower down to chaturanga. Inhaling, up dog. Exhaling, downward facing dog. Inhale, come through to a seated position. We're going to work on Salambasar Vinyasana, which is shoulder stand pose. So only do the parts of it that you can. You can watch the other parts. There are 7 poses in all before we finish this posture. So lay down onto your back, tuck your shoulder blades under, bring your legs together. Inhale, legs all the way up, bringing the hands to the lower back. Chin is slightly lifting. Toes are pointed, breathing for 1, 10 breaths. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Hinge from the hips. Bring the toes to the floor above your head. Interlace your fingers. Send your arms straight down to the mat for 8 breaths. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bend your knees. Hug your ears with your knees. Breathing for 1, 2, Padasana 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Inhale, legs up. This is called Pandasana, Embryo Pose. So you're going to take your right foot into half lotus, and then your left foot into half lotus, balancing on your shoulders and the back of your head. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. From here, we take, oh, that was Urdhva Padmasana. This is Pandasana. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Bring your arms down by your sides. Slowly lower on down to your back, one bone at a time. As the knees come down to the mat, press your elbows into the thighs. Lift your head and then bring the crown of your head to the mat for Marichyasana, fish pose. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Extend the legs, keeping the crown of your head on the mat for extended foot posture, Uttana Padasana. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Release down that Chakrasana if you know it. Otherwise, come on up to a seated position and let's take a Vinyasa. Cross the legs, lift up, jump or step back to plank. Exhale, elbows in, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale to up dog, exhaling to down dog. And then let's just come to the knees because this pose is headstand. So Shirsasana. If you don't know how to do headstand, don't practice it on the wall. Again, try to practice it with a teacher in person because if you practice it against the wall, you could hurt the neck or the back because you're using the wall to support you and not your strength to support you. And that causes some collapsing in the neck and spine. And that's when you could get a pinched nerve or vertigo and you don't want to do it incorrectly. So do it with a teacher present, but I will show you what you can do to work on it until you can meet up with a teacher again. So come on down to the elbows, interlace your fingers. You want to bend at your wrists. So your arms kind of look like this, not this. So you're bending at your wrists, your hands are apart. You're going to bring this part of your head to the mat. So that's somewhere between the crown and the hairline. And your hands are kind of cupping this area, not the very top, not the very back. So interlace your fingers, bend at your wrists, bring your elbows down to the mat. Bring the head down to the mat, cupping the back of the head. That area between the hairline and the crown of your head is on the mat. Press your elbows into the floor. Move your shoulders away from your ears. Straighten your legs. Walk your feet towards your face. Keep walking. You'll know when you're ready because your legs will come up straight, and that's when you're ready. You can't walk any further, and there's nowhere to go but up. Breathing for 1, 2. We're going to hold for 10 here today. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, And 10. Half bend. Only 5 breaths today. Breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale, bring the legs back up. And then exhale. Slowly bring the legs down to the mat with control, straight legs. And then once the toes touch the mat, you can bend your knees and rest in pose of the child. Inhale, come on up into a plank position. Exhale, lower down to Chaturanga. Inhale, come to upward facing dog. Exhaling to downward facing dog. And then inhale, come through to a seated position. And this is the very, very end. So these last 3 poses I call the 3 lotus postures. So you're going to bring your right foot into lotus. The left foot comes on top. And this first lotus is called bound lotus. So you're going to reach your left arm around your back. Try to grab your foot. If you can't, just grab your elbows behind your back. And then reach your right arm around. Try to grab your foot. And let's exhale. Bring the head to the floor for 10 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Inhale, come up. This next one is Yogi Mudrasana. Thumb and index fingers together, straight arms, lift the chest, bow your chin down, breathing for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then the very last pose is Utplutahit, the lifting up pose. Bring your hands underneath your thighs. I'll try to count fast. Ready? Lift up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And exhale, release. Let's bring the hands to heart center. Close your eyes. We'll do the closing mantra. We'll do the opening Om together. The rest you can repeat after me. Om. Swasti prajabhyaha paripalayantam nyayena margena mahim mahishaha gobrahmanebhyaha shubhamastu nityam lokaha samastaha Sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. May prosperity be celebrated. May rulers rule the world with law and justice. May divinity and profound knowledge be protected, and may all beings of this world be happy and free. Om peace, peace, perfect peace. Namaste. I want to thank you all for joining me today on this 2-class, 2-day journey into the primary series of Ashtanga Yoga. Have a wonderful day, everybody. Lay down, take rest, drink lots of water, and feel good.